Grand Rising. I got this beanie at a powwow, and it's funny because it says, "We are reclaiming." And it's funny because, like I said, they're taking the awakening of the true people, and then they'll try to apply that whole dogma of reclaiming, which is actually something that's happening to the Israelites and not the other nations. Now, my brother made a great comment, Brother William. I want to share real fast with you guys because from the video earlier talking about how the Pope said that there's all different religions lead to the same God or lead to God. And we all know that that God they're talking about is actually Satan, and that these people have already made their covenant with the church. All of a sudden now they all want to act as if they're being brand new and they're bringing something new out, and they're trying to get their land back, and they're trying to do all these things. I'm like, how can you get your land back when it was never your land in the first place? And you're forgetting that you're trying to ignore the fact that you've already made a claim, you've already made a covenant with, the colonizers. So therefore, you already got your payment. There is no land coming back for you. But check this out. Brother here made a great comment. They're trying to distance themselves from their past rhetoric of they have the only truth and they are the only way because they have Cesare Borgia right there. Now that we see through their lies, that don't matter no more, and that's exactly what it is right now. You guys came over here and you brought the Bible and you brought your religion, you brought white Jesus, and anyone that would not bow down to you, you killed. You asked what the whole Inquisition was about. They went after the Israelites. They went after anybody that was practicing, as you call it, Judaism. Anybody who was following the laws of the Bible. You went out and you killed and you destroyed. And then you hid all that history, and now you're trying to say that, oh, well, you need to respect everyone's religion because they all lead to God. Well, why didn't you respect the religion of the original people that were here in the first place? Why did you kill them? Why did you destroy them? Why did you steal their land? And then why did you make the other nations vassals to you and vassals to your church, and pretty much anyone that didn't follow your path got excommunicated? Now we understand. I used to always wonder why excommunication was so bad, because if you're excommunicated from the church, you could be considered a foreigner and you could be treated like we were treated. And that's why everyone's so scared of getting excommunicated from the church, because no one wanted to be treated like us. And that's all the way till today. Still no one wants to be treated like us. But what you're seeing right now is this. This is a worldwide thing going on. People act like the Arabs or, BRICS is going to go up and stand up against the America and everything else. And it's like, look, these people it's either the top tier people and everyone else is vassals. Vassals have never risen up against the top tier people, against the colonizers, and they're not going to even now. Even at this late date, when you're at an opportunity to see all this truth and make a choice to follow the Most High and make a choice to follow this truth and make changes, you see how few people are actually doing that, because they've already sold out to the system. Check this out. Because, like I said, they're trying to hide their history. I'm like, you guys, your whole thing has been following the Catholic Church. And if you didn't follow it, you were killed. That was pretty much how you guys have worked. You didn't try to really, get people to, you didn't try to go back and forth with them, have discussions with them, find out what was really the truth. You're pretty much with an iron hand. Either you follow my way or I'm going to kill you. That's how it's always been. But all of a sudden now you try and act as if that was never your history. That was never, that was not the thing that you have. That wasn't the testimony of your church. And that's exactly the whole testimony of your church, as well as the vassals. Check this out. From this book right here, History of Slavery. Now, of course, the Pacific slave trade is nowhere in here. It's this big old, thick old book. It's like a big old dictionary. And the whole Pacific slave trade is nowhere to be found in here. But there is something about De las Casas here, though. You look at the top. When Albuquerque entered in his office as the governor of Santo Domingo in 1515, he found that whereas in 1508 the natives numbered 60,000, they're not then the number of 14,000. The condition of these poor aborigines, under the Spanish colonists, became so heartbreaking that Dominican priests, stayed out in their behalf, asserting them to be free men. See, you always trying to say the natives and the Negroes were brothers and we went through the same things. No, they didn't, because these priests were out here actually trying to get them out of servitude. This is denying the right of them Spaniards to make them slaves. This led to a vehement controversy, which lasted several years, and in which Bartolome de las Casas, A priest here figured most conspicuously as the friend of the Indians. So in whatever, I can't see that word over there. And preserving was he that he produced a great impression and upon the Spanish government at home. So right here, unfortunately, the relaxation in favor of one race of men, all right, was proceeded and at the expense of the slavery of another, whether Las Casas himself, okay, by his extreme interest in the Indians, to be so inconsistent as to propose the employment of Negroes in their stead, or whether the suggestion came from some other person, does not distinctly appear. But it is certain that what the Spaniards spared, when the Spaniards first spared the Indians, they inflicted with double rigor upon the Negroes. Laborers must be had, and the Negroes were the kind of laborers that were well suited. As early as 1503, remember that whole thing with 1502 and making people chattel slavery. They made us chattel slavery. They made us property and not people anymore, right? A few Negroes had been carried across the Atlantic. Now, they already found us here. It wasn't like they brought us across the Atlantic. We were already here. And it was found that not only could each of these Negroes do as much as 4 Indians, okay, but that while the Indians were fast becoming extinct, the Negroes were thriving and propagating wonderfully. So it took one Negro could do the work of 4 of these so-called Indians, right? But see, this is the history that you guys want to, all of a sudden now you keep on talking about Jesus came and died for everyone, but you excluded one group of people the whole time. So you can't keep saying that Jesus came and died for everyone when your history in these books shows that you went ahead and took the slavery off of the Indians, as you call them, and you put them on our people. And then you found out that we could do 4 times the work. That would kind of make us then like, I don't know, 4 times the man, right? To be able to do as much work as 4 times. See, all of a sudden, after you guys couldn't get free labor for us after 1865, all of a sudden, then we were the lazy people who needed to be put incarcerated and needed to be incarcerated and everything else because we were so lazy. But before that, we were able to do all this work for you and build up this country. I said, but that was all part of the curses that we were going to go under and that now we are coming out of. So, like I said, so a lot of this information that you guys are now trying to bring out about all of a sudden love doctrine, everyone knows you. Well, see, everyone goes with what you say because 99% of the world is with you. They're the vassals. They don't say anything. I like you guys don't realize that your church, that you have been, well, see, you, of course you know, because see, you give your praise to the church because they excluded you from being enslaved. So you're well aware that that's why you go to the churches. You don't go to the church to learn anything because you've been going to church your whole lives and you don't know anything. So you didn't go to church to learn anything. You go to church to say thank you to white Jesus for making sure that you didn't have to go through the slavery that we went through. So everyone is well aware of why you give praise to the church. So now at the end, when the church is saying, just ignoring their whole history, you guys are complicit with it because you're not saying one word about it. You're not saying, well, that's not true because we excluded this whole group of people. We actually called them, less than human. We actually destroyed them. We worked them to death. We didn't give them the opportunity to be baptized in the church and actually get out of slavery. So therefore, you saying that Jesus came and died for everyone is totally untrue. It's a flat out lie because he only died for the vassals and the people at the top, the people that were running the church. Those were the only people that got out of this destruction by praising Jesus and joining your churches. But see, the fact that the vassals aren't saying a word about it means that they're, like I said, they're complicit. They know that their religion, their church never included us. That's why throughout all of history, no one wanted to be a so-called Negro. Nobody. We were scorned. We've been ignored. No one says restore. No one says, hey, we need to make things right with them. No one says anything. Okay? So you can't keep saying God loves everybody. All different paths lead to God, and that we need to love our brothers and love our brothers when you've never done that. You've never done that. That's never been a priority with any of you. So now we're at the point where, look, there's bricks. All these people in bricks are also vassals. They're not independent. They're not going to be able to say, oh, we're sick and tired of being treated this way, and now we want out. You can't be because you've already you already agreed to be treated like a second-class citizen this whole time. That's why you don't see anybody going back against Ish at this point, because they've already agreed to be second-hand citizens, vassals. Shalom.